Kufid Alpha and Bays. Amar Yehuda Amar Shmuel. Right, we said it first. We have a memo from Shmuel that says that Sakin Shishochat Babasar. If you have a knife that you shechted with, right, Sakin Shishochat Babasar, then also Lachtach B'Reiseach, because there's dam muvla from the base of shchita into the knife, and therefore the reiseach takes it out. But signing is fine. Some say you have to wash it off, and some you don't have to wash it off. Okay. Amar Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shmuel. So Rabbi Yehuda Amar Shmuel says another statement: Ka'ara shemalach b'basar, that if you salted meat in a pot, so then also le'echol b'reiseach. You're not allowed to eat something hot, something boiling in the actual pot. You're not allowed to eat from the pot something boiling. Why? Because Shmuel at time is Damar Shmuel Meliach Harei Kureseach. When something is salted, it's like it's boiling, which means that let's say you were to boil something also not boil. Let's say you were to salt something also with something mutter, a piece of chazer together with a piece of kosher meat, a piece of nevela together with a piece of kosher meat. So then the melicha, because they're being salted together and all the juices are being expelled al yidei the salt, so it comes in and out, it's coming back and forth, and therefore both become asr. And the same thing is true, says Shmuel, that if you salted something in a pot, so then the salt causes the blood from the piece of meat to go into the pot itself, as if it's mamash resech, as if it's boiling on the fire, and therefore there are blias of dam in the ke'ara, blias of dam in the pot, and therefore now, if you're eating something kosher, a hot piece of meat or a hot soup or anything that's in the pot, so the blood that's embedded, that's absorbed into the ke'ara is going to come out and be absorbed into your piece of meat that's reisayach, and therefore it's going to be aser. Because Shmuel holds that and this is Shmuel's shita that meliach is kereiseach. It's all because from the starting point that when you salt something it's as if it's boiling, and therefore since you salted something in this ke'ara, the blood from the piece of meat that you salted is going into is going to be nivla into the ke'ara. Okay. And the second part of Shmuel's statement is kavash arei k'mevushel, which is also very important, not for our situation right here, but in general he holds that if you soak something in there's a discussion between Rashi and the other Rishonim as to whether it means soaked in water, or it means soaked in something that's a pickling agent, or even soaked in anything. Even if you take meat and you soak it for 24 hours in milk, so then midrabanan it's considered mevushel, kavush hareyu kimevushel, and therefore now it's aser. Now if you cook it, Kiveger says you're even chayav midaraisa because the mitzias is that there's milk in the meat, right? And now if you cook it, so now that's bishul daraisa. To leave it in there is only drabanan, because kavush is only mevushel midrabanan. Okay, either way, so that's his chiddush. Shmuel's chiddush is the kavush hareyu kimevushel. Fine. Kiasa Ravin and Rabbi Yechanan, meliach einik reisech. Ravin said, Rabbi Yechanan, no, meliach is not reisech, kavush is not mevushel. You don't have to be chayshish. So he argues on Shmuel. Amar Abaye. Abaye says, how the Ravin lessa. This that Ravin said is not true. That he pincha, I can prove it because there was this pincha is a clay pottery dish, right? To have a bear of Ami that was in the house of Rami the Malach Bisra, they salted in this clay pot basar. So what happened was that Rav Ami saw this v'tavrei and he broke it. He broke this pot. Why? Because he assumed that because miliach is k'reisech, when he saw something, it's as if it's boiling, and therefore the blood comes out of the piece of meat and goes into the dish. Therefore, he holds miliach is k'reisech, and therefore he broke it. Therefore, he broke it because there's blood in the clay pot. And the other types of kelim you can do agal, you can do libun, but klicheres any yitzim de dafne la'olam. Klicheres you can never be sure that everything is expunged, everything is purged out of the klicheres, and therefore it's always going to remain also, and therefore he had to break it. Okay, Michti says the Gemara, Rav Ami is Talmud Rabbi Yechanan. Abaye is saying Rav Ami is Talmud Rabbi Yechanan. Hava, my time at Tavri. Why did he break it? Lav mishum deshmiel leminei Rabbi Yechanan, because he heard from Rabbi Yechanan. Damar milech haraki yoseach. So he's a Talmud Rabbi Yechanan, and from the fact that he broke it, must be he heard from Rabbi Yechanan that milech is kiyoseach. Right, and Dachmamela, you see that it's not true that Rabbi Yechanan said it's not kiyoseach. Okay, so Abaye proved that Rabbi Yechanan does agree to Shmuel. Yosef Rav Kana Achud Rav Yehuda came into Rav Huna v'Yosef Ka'omar. Rav Kana, who was the brother of Yehuda, was sitting in front of Rav Huna and was saying, "Ke'arish malach b'basar also lech lo reseach." The same type of thing. Ka'ara shemalach b'basar. So now there's blood in the ka'ara. You're not allowed to eat b'riseach. Okay. U'tznoin shechatche b'sakin. However, if you have tznoin, you have a radish. And a radish is something that's a davar charif. It's something that has a very strong sharpness to it. Okay, that's going to be important later on. But if you cut shechatche b'sakin and you cut it with a knife, let's say a fleshige knife. So mutar lachle b'riseach b'kutach. You're allowed to eat b'kutach. Kutach is some type of milchige. It's a milchige. It's a milchige type of dip. Yeah, something like that, right? It's made out of actual milk and cheese. I don't know exactly how they translate it. Kutach. They say it's kutach. Okay. Right, it's sour. It's mamish milk. It's actual milk. Okay, so now what happened over here is he took the knife, right, and he cut basar, which was very hot basar. So now this knife has blias of basar. It's a fleshige knife, right? And then what did he do? He went and cut tznoin. Right, so you have tznoin shechatche b'sakin. Now mutar la'achla b'kosach. You could take this radish, right, that was cut with a fleshige knife, and eat it together with mamish milk, right? So the question is what's the difference? My time, but what is the chilik? What's the chilik between the ke'ara shemalach b'basar, right? If you have blias of blood in a pot, right? Then you're not a yireseach, right? But if you have blias of basar in a knife, right? Then you're allowed to eat the tznoin. How come you're allowed to eat the tznoin with milk? Doesn't the tznoin have blias of basar in it? So the Gemara says, no, you have to realize, in the ke'ara, in the pot that we're talking about, that would absorb dam, that's isser, right? Dam is usser. So therefore, you can't do anything about it. But hay isura bala. Sorry, it starts opposite. Amar by hay tera bala. By the tznoin absorbed basar. Basar is mutter, right? Basar is totally mutter. Just you can't eat it with chalav, right? But it's called hetera bala. It was when it absorbed heter. So therefore, it's going to be mutter. But hay isura bala. But the blood that absorbed into the pot, that's usser, right? So that should be usser. Because it's isura bala, when it absorbed it was something that was usser that it absorbed, therefore it's going to be usser.
What kind of knife cut the radish?
Fleshiga, mistama ben yomi. Let's say ben yomi.
So it doesn't impart taste to the radish.
Right, it doesn't impart taste to the radish.
Not meat taste.
Right. No, I don't think that makes a difference. But either way, the inconsistency here is that you're not allowed to boil, you're not allowed to eat hot stuff in the pot, but you're allowed to eat. But the radish is considered parv. It's totally parv, even though it should have absorbed something.
It should have, yeah. I understand. What's the difference of viscer beheter? Did it absorb meat taste?
Oh, so that's the Gemara's next kasha. What does it make a difference if what it absorbed first was heter? So what? It's heter that's going to come the day isur, because if the tznoin has tam basar in it, right? Now you're eating it together with chalav, with kutach, which is chalav, and it's going to be asur. So what does it make a difference? And the isur kachal eventually is going to eat isur. Rava says what either he's explaining what Abaye means, or he's saying his own teretz. No, you have to realize that this ke'ara that had blood in it, and now you cook the meat in it.
The radish is capable of being
right. The radish you could taste because everything's heter. It was basar. Basar is mutter. You just can't eat it with chalav. Therefore, you can taste it, right, and see does this taste fleshig or not. Oh, if it doesn't taste fleshig, I'm allowed to eat with kutach. But the ke'ara that had the dam, right, because of the melech harei k'reseach, and therefore now you want to cook something in the pot. You can't, because you can't taste it even because it's dam. Oh, that's what Gemara is going to say. Let a goy should cook taste it. Milot nan does not say k'der shebishul b'basar. We have in the Mishnah that if you have a k'dera that you cook basar. Lo yivash b'chov, you're not allowed to cook chalav. V'im bishal, and if you cooked it b'nois and tam, right? Then it depends. It's asar only if the chalav has tam basar in it, right? If the basar gave tam into the chalav, it's all about the tam. Bishal b'truma, the same thing. If you cook truma lo yivash b'chulin, you shouldn't be mivashal b'chulin, because the chulin is going to have truma taste. V'im bishal b'nois and tam. However, if you cooked it, it's as long as there's no taste of truma in the chulin, then it's fine. I'm reading, we said bishlam truma. How could you know? How could you know if there's taste or not? Toim l'koyin. A koyin tastes it. A koyin's allowed to have truma and chulin. Therefore, he tastes it. If he tastes truma, if he tastes the tam truma of the thing that was truma, so therefore there's also it's also for Yisrael. But if not, you can give it to Yisrael. He says, look, there's no tam truma in here. Elo basar b'chol of man toim leva omer lon, and you told us lit to make kfela, right? You told us that Rava is the one who said that lit to make kfela. That a goyish guy, you can get a guy who tastes it, and if he tells you that it tastes like basar b'cholav, it's a problem. If not, it's not. So the Gemara says ochanami lit to make kfela. Also over here, the Gemara says ochanami ki kamina de kfela. You're right. What I mean to say over here is if you don't have a non-Jew to taste it, right? So therefore, in the situation where it's a radish, you can taste it, not a problem, because everything is heter over here. But in the case of when the chashash is the dam, so then that's not going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem unless you have a guy. Right? Okay. Either way, the starts of Abai of Hayatera Bala of Hayasura Bala. This comes up in Pesachim again. I mean, we do use this in certain times. In Hagala, there is a concept of Hayatera Bala and Yisura Bala. For instance, on Pesach, chametz before Pesach is mutter, right? So therefore, if something goes into a pot and you want to do Hagala to a pot that was used with chametz, so because when the chametz was absorbed into the pot, it was before Pesach, so it's mutter, right? So therefore, it has more makel status regarding what level of Hagala you have to do. You have to Hagala, you have to do Libun, whatever. Within the halachas of Hagala, we definitely do use this hetera or isura bola. Okay. Just over here, he's saying that there's no chilik. Now we're going to enter into a little more clarity as to what the case of the tznoin was. Okay, we're going to see it right at the end of the daf. So itmar dagim she'olu b'kaira. If you have fish that olu, this word olu is very important. Olu means it was on the kaira, right? Rav Amar also loichlin mekutach. You're not allowed to eat it together with this milk sauce, right? So now you're allowed to eat it with milk sauce. What's going on over here? This ka'ara is a fleishiga ka'ara. Let's call it a ben yomi ka'ara. You just used it with heat, with very hot basar, right? And now you washed it off. Now it's totally clean, right? And you took fish, boiling fish, and you put the fish onto the dish, right? So now boiling fish on a fleishiga ka'ara. And now the question is, are you allowed to eat it with milk? Right, so there's a machlokes Rav Shmuel. Rav says asur lechel mekutach, Shmuel Amar mutar lechel mekutach. Rav Amar asur. He says asur. Why? Because it's nice and tamhu. Because the basar gave tam in the ka'ara. The ka'ara gave tam in the dagim. Right, basar goes into the pot. Pot goes from the pot. It goes to the dagim, and from the dagim, right, it's gonna mix with the kutach. It's gonna mix with the milk, and now you have basar b'chalav. All right, Shmuel Amar nice and tam bar nice and tam. He says no, it's one level removed. It's nice and tam bar nice and tam. This is what we call not bar not. Right, not bar not means it's one step away, because meaning everyone agrees that if you have a fleishika kli and you cook basar in it, that's a big problem, because that's nice and tam. The basar was in the pot, and from the pot it goes into the chalav, and now you have a mixture of basar and chalav. But over here it's not bar not. It's nice and tam bar nice and tam. Why? Because the dagim are mutter. The dagim are totally mutter. The dagim are what get the taste of basar, not actual milk. It's dagim, and then that dagim you want to mix with milk. So that's a step removed. So Shmuel calls it nice and tam bar nice and tam. It's the next level. It's the son of nice and tam, right? So therefore Shmuel holds it's fine. Now the ganze discussion over here, which becomes a machlekes mechaber rama, which becomes the difference between the Sfardim and the Ashkenazim, is if what? Oh, sakana. No, that's a whole different discussion. From here you see, right? From here you see, Medina de Gemara. There's no issue to eat the dagim fish with milk. There's no such thing in the Mishnah and the Gemara. It all starts with the Beis Yosef, who has a tosai. There's a tosai from the Beis Yosef that some people take as canonized, and we have to go even though it's a tosai. Whatever. That's a whole different discussion. The discussion over here becomes in not bar not as to whether the olu means if the dagim were just on the ka'ara or actually cooked in the ka'ara. So the Mechaber holds, based on one interpretation of Rashi, that even if it was cooked, even if the dagim were cooked, mamish cooked in the ka'ara of basar, it's still going to be mutter. It's still called nice and tam bar nice and tam. And the Ashkenazim, the Ramah goes with the other approach. That no, the only time it's mutter is if the dagim, if it was yes it was hot fish, right? But it wasn't actually cooked in the pot. If it's cooked in the pot, then the Ramah holds it's asur. And Ashkenazim go with this. So not bar not the teira. even though it was mutter because it was basar is mutter, right? Then it gets mixed with chalav. He holds it's asar if it was actually cooked in it, and that's going to be, but only the chatchila. But the Eved holds it's fine, and if it's ein ben yomi holds it's fine. Because that's all the halachas of not banat. You'll see in the Siman Tzaddik. Now the Gemara just goes through the shittas. V'hadu Rav says the Gemara lav beferish itmar. It wasn't said beferish. Ela michlola itmar. He didn't actually say beferish. The not banat is also. There was a story that we deduced this from. The Rav Ikla, the bear of Sim Bar Chia Bar Berei. He was by the house of Sim Bar Chia, who was his grandson. Chash be'einav, and he had an issue with his eyes. His eyes hurt. Avdul shaifa b'tzah. They made him some type of cream in a pot, in a plate. Now basar achi ramulei b'shula begava. After that, in the same plate, they put him. They put food for him to eat on that same plate where they mixed up and they made that cream for his eyes, right? And what happened was his time the shaifa, and in the food he tasted the taste of the cream that they made. It was bitter, right? And he tasted it. So Amar Yav Taima Kula Hai. Wow, he says, look, it gives so much taste. So you see that the taste transfers. It transfers from the cream to the plate, and from the plate back to and he tasted it. So you see, so he was machmer. You see, he held taste can last very long. Says the Gemara, Velohi. That's not that. The Gemara says that's not a good proof because Shani Asam the Nafish Merat Fei. Don't bring me a raya from this cream that they put in his eyes. That cream was a very, very bitter cream. That has super tam, and if it's super tam, that's when he would be machmer. But regularly, he wouldn't hold this a problem. Okay, Rabbi Eliyahu was in front of Shmuel. They brought in front of him this dagim that were on a kaira, right? Dagim that on a plate. And he ate it, no problem. But b'kutach yoivle, they gave him, when they gave it to him with kutach, so that lo yachal, he didn't eat it. Amar lei, so he tells him, Rabbi Eliyahu tells him, l'rabach yohivi, to your Rebbe I gave it to you. He means Rav over here. I guess Shmuel's Rebbe was Rav. Meaning I gave it to Rav and he ate it, and you're not going to eat it. Meaning Rav is the machmer one over here. Shmuel was the makel one that we said, right? And still Shmuel was being machmer like Rav. And so now Rav Elazar says, no, I gave it to Rav and he said it's fine. He ate it. What's the big deal? Why are you not eating it? So also like made the Rav. So Shmuel goes to Rav, or unless this is Mar Shmuel, maybe it's someone else, not exactly Shmuel. Either way, so he comes in front of Rav. Did you, Rav, did you retract from your original position that not banat is asur? Because he told me that you ate it. So Amalei tells him back. No, he said no such thing. And Chasli Lazari Dava Bar Abba, the grandchildren, the kids of Abba Bar Abba. Abba Bar Abba was Shmuel's father, who was a big chassid. Rashi says he was a chassid gadol haya, and therefore his grandchildren were protected. That they wouldn't eat they wouldn't be fed something that Rav didn't hold up. Meaning, basically, the guy is not true. Rabbi Eliyahu wasn't saying the truth. It's not true. I never ate this, and he just tried fooling you. He holds his mutter, so he just tried telling you that I hold his mutter, but really it's not true. And look, Hashem protected the grandchildren of Abba Bar Abba from eating something that I don't hold up. Okay. Rahuna and Rav Chia, they were both sitting by the river of Surah. One of them was on one side of the river, on the river of, one was on one side of the river of Surah, and one on the other side of the river. One of them, they brought this situation of dagim, right, of fish that they, on a ka'ara, a flesh ka'ara, and he ate it with kutach, so he held it with mutter. The other person, what happened? What was the story over there on the other side of the river? They gave him te'enim va'anovim b'soich hasudi. It was the middle of his meal, and they gave him te'enim, figs and grapes in the middle of a suda. And he ate it without making a bracha. Okay, so one of them tells the other, he screams across the river, he says, Yasma, you've orphaned Avad Rabcha Achi. Did your Rebbe do this? Meaning, what are you doing? Your Rebbe didn't do this. How could you eat Dogim Shalom Bekari with Kutach? How could you eat? Did your Rebbe do this? The other one said, Yasma. He tells him back, you're an orphan. Did your Rebbe do this? Avad Rabcha Achi. Did your Rebbe do that? Did he eat the Te'enim in the middle of the Suda? He didn't make a bracha on figs and grapes if he came in the middle of the Suda? So one of them told him back, no, I'm not Shmuel surely. I hold like Shmuel, who holds its mutter to eat bekutach, like we said before. He held its mutter. The other one tells him back, I'm not Rabbi Chia surely. I hold like Rabbi Chia, the Tani Rabbi Chia. Pas beteres kol minei meichel. that if you eat pas in the beginning of Suda, so it patters all minei meichel for making a bracha. You don't have to make a bracha on anything, even though it's something that's usually dessert, right? Ta'ein v'anav, using dessert usually comes after Suda. No, but if it comes in the middle, it's fine. Pas patters everything. V'yain, and the same thing with wine is pater kol minei mashkin. Any type of drinks, it patters. Okay, Amar Chizki Mishum Abaye. Chizki is his name. Abaye Hilchas Adagim Shel B'Kairo. Mutter lechem b'Pudach. He says it's mutter. Because not the hetera is mutter. It's nine shechot besakin. But if you have tznoin that you cut with a knife, with a fleshig knife, shechotach v'basar, right? Tznoin shechotchay. You cut tznoin radishes, which were darvacharif, right? Besakin shechotach v'basar with the knife that you cut basar. Also loyach v'kutach. Then you not allowed to eat that tznoin v'kutach. What's the difference? Animili tznoin, specifically radishes. Why the agav churfei balab? The radish because it's so sharp, so therefore it's able. Even though, right, basar, the dagim we say are not gonna have enough tam basar to answer with kutach, right? But the tznoin, we will say it has enough because the tznoin, because it's so sharp, it's able to expunge the taste out of the knife, and therefore it will have enough tam basar in it, and therefore you can't eat it b'kutach. Aval kishus, but however kishus, which is like squash, that's fine. All you have to do is gar like the beipaske. You just scrape off the place where you actually chopped it with the knife, and it's fine. The achil and eat it. Kilchi delifta also shari. The stalks of turnips, right, are mutter. Also, if you cut it, it's mutter. It's not considered sharp. The sul kasir, however, beets are considered sharp. However, ipadach delifta, if you first cut it with lefes, right, if you have a knife, you cut it with lefes, and then you cut it with beets, right? So then shaper dummy, it's fine. It means if you mix it up, if you have a fleshig knife, you cut turnips, and then you cut beets, so it's fine because the turnips that you cut at first neutralize the tam basar. If you cut something before you cut the beets, it's fine. If you cut the beets directly, the beets take the tam basar out of the knife. But if you cut if you cut something first, you cut the turnips first, then it's fine. It's not a problem. Okay, ad kan.